Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on free.
It's an honor. There's no excuse for systems of abuse. There's no excuse for systems.
So this is it. This is the governor's office. This is the seat of political power in the state of Connecticut. All right? And so I want to just reverence this moment, right? Because most of us, we see the governor, we see legislators, we see people do, and we vote for them. And we never come to where they are, where they do their work, where they are allegedly doing our work. All right? So this is the moment that this is one of those moments that, quite frankly, somebody said that right. We paid for it. So we're here to serve notice, representing faith leaders from across the state. To say we want more oral legislation done.
Okay.
And so we have a list of demands. You'll get this electronically as well, but this is kind of a formal, kind of a symbolic, yet pretty important for folks. Several dozens of us were outside, and now we've come up to the office.
Okay, great.
To serve that to you.
Thank you.
All righty. All right. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Good. We're good. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
All right.
So you were one of the first people to start the Moral Monday movement. Could you explain why and what happened?
One of the things that we find that we have unequal justice in Connecticut and all across the country. And we need to let our legislators know, our lawmakers know that we're not very happy with this. And this is something that a movement that we thought will open the eyes and the minds and the ears of those who are making legislation, making laws, and being able to see what the great cry is and what the need is in this place of what we're going through and what our children are going through most of all, because we have a generation that's coming up that really starting off on a bad note. And when I say on a bad note, not having that equal quality of life, to being able to live comfortably, and the wages of our adults that are and our young people that are going through jobs are not equal to their counterparts, and it's really not a very good, effective way of living.
You started this in the South. Was there a particular incident that gave rise to the movement?
Yeah, mostly the same as we are facing today. What we find is that even in the South, more so, there was no equal justice, equal economical difference, because we look at the way people were living, the way people were treated, and most of all, how the life of in the lower class, and I say lower class, but I say in the minority, black, white, mostly black and brown, was very low in a poverty level. It wasn't a level of high standards, it wasn't a level of mediocre standards, but it was a level of low standards. So the movement was to open the eyes and the minds.
What year did it start? What city?
What city is we're talking about? In North Carolina and Charlotte, around the Charlotte area. It was very much a very defeated way of living, and that was big city, where quality of life should have been much better for minority or black and brown people and Hispanic and people of color, but it wasn't. And people was really badly treated, so we had to take a stand.
What year was this that it started?
Oh, we're talking about maybe the year 1970s, around the 70s.
It was called Moral Mondays even then?
It was called something else even then. Then it was called, I can't even call it off the top of my head, but it was not Moral Monday. It was called something else. It was a movement of culture or racism or justice. So
when did the Moral Monday start?
Moral Monday really started in the year 2007, 2008, around that year. Yes, and it continued from that era on.
There were some very big marches.
Very big marches all over this country, everywhere, and people were very excited about the marches because it was something that brought awareness to the lives of those who were more or less making legislation and calling shots and but mostly protecting our lives. You know, that was really unfair to a point that we, might as well say that we were, our own policing.
So I assume you're very pleased with the growth of the Black Lives Matter movement?
Oh, very pleased because of the fact that we need to understand that it's not only the black lives that matter, but it's all important that lives in general matters to the point where we need to have equal opportunities and equal justice for all. And that's the Constitution. So, go ahead.
I was just going to thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a pleasure being able to talk to you and to be able to have this being able to be put on notice to recognize what this movement is all about, how important it is, and how important it is for us to be able to come together as a people, black, white, and brown, to be able to unite together to make a difference.
Thanks again.
You're welcome.